DeepSeek slashed its flagship V4 pricing by 75%. Then people started running a 284 billion parameter version on a home PC. So today we find out if that's hype or a real alternative to GPT-5. And stick around, because once we've felt V4 on a local box, I'll stack its real API costs and clinical reasoning scores against GPT-5, 6, Gemini and Claude to show you where it actually lands, not where the hype puts it. First, context. According to Reuters, DeepSeek just raised about $7 billion at a $52 billion valuation and is now widely called China's national AI champion after its V3 and R1 models impressed Silicon Valley. This isn't a scrappy research lab anymore. It's the company trying to turn math-heavy models into a national export. And V4 is the flagship where that ambition shows up in both pricing and sheer size. On the cloud side, DeepSeek cut V4 Pro prices permanently in late May, positioning it as a low-cost model in the broader AI token price war that Forbes has been tracking. For comparison, according to OpenAI's pricing reported by Forbes, GPT-5, 6 Sol is $5 per million input tokens and $30 per million output, with Terra at half that and Luna at $1 in and $6 out. So if DeepSeek wants V4 to be the budget choice, it has to sit meaningfully below that Sol and Terra line on real workloads, not just headline cuts. And we'll come back to that once we've actually hit the API. But the reason everyone is talking about V4 isn't just price, it's this. A dedicated runner called DS4, also known as Dwarf Star, was built specifically for V4 and can push a 284 billion parameter model on consumer hardware, according to XDA. DS4 avoids generic runtimes like GGML and keeps attention, routing, and projection layers at higher precision, while aggressively 2-bit quantizing only the routed expert layers, which is how it preserves tool calls and overall behavior even when it's compressing the model hard. Let's feel that in practice by running DeepSeek V4 locally on a home PC, then asking it a reasoning-heavy question. On a mid-range GPU, you're not getting GPT-style instant replies. But the key thing you'll notice is the reasoning structure. V4 keeps multi-step explanations and tool calling plans coherent, even at that extreme compression. That's the local story. The production story is that on Versal's enterprise AI gateway, DeepSeek models already account for nearly 23% of all tokens compared with 32% for Anthropic, according to TechCrunch, which means V4 is actually showing up in real traffic, not just Reddit threads. Reasoning-wise, the most interesting data point is a peer-reviewed clinical guideline study in Scientific Reports. DeepSeek R1 hit a median accuracy of 4.4 out of 5, slightly below Gemini 2.5 Pro at 4.5, but ahead of ChatGPT 4.1 at 4.0 and right next to ChatGPT 5 and Claude Sonnet 4 at 4.2. Translated, that means DeepSeek's reasoning engines are already inside the same performance band as the Western flagships on a high-stakes domain, which is why the price cut on V4 matters. You're no longer choosing between cheap and smart, you're choosing how much lock-in and latency you can live with. So what does this actually mean if you're building agents today? If you want full control and can tolerate some lag, DS4 plus a local V4 gives you a huge reasoning model on your own metal. If you need snappy user responses or heavy tool orchestration, V4 over the API is a serious contender against GPT-5. 6 Terra and Luna on cost, as long as your stack can handle a non-US provider. If this kind of hands-on stress test helps you sort hype from reality, subscribe and hit the bell. Each week we put one new AI model or tool through a real workflow so you see exactly where it fits before you bet your next project on it.